Elohei Avoteinu, Ve'imotenu. Modim anachnu lach, she'atahu Adonai Eloheinu, Elohei Avoteinu, Ve'imotenu. Modim anachnu lach, she'atahu Adonai Eloheinu, Elohei Avoteinu, Ve'imotenu. Le'olam va'ed, Le'olam va'ed. Le'olam va'ed, Le'olam va'ed. Modim anachnu lach, she'atahu Adonai Eloheinu, Elohei Avoteinu, Ve'imotenu. Modim anachnu lach, she'atahu Adonai Eloheinu, Elohei Avoteinu, Ve'imotenu. Thankful for our lives, thankful for our souls, thankful for the miracles, wondrous to behold. Thankful for the morning, thankful for the afternoon, thankful for the evening, nighttime blessed by you. Le'olam va'ed, forever and ever. Le'olam va'ed, forever and ever. Le'olam va'ed, Le'olam va'ed, forever, 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 Le'olam va'ed. Le'olam va'ed, Le'olam va'ed, Le'olam va'ed. Modim anachnu lach, she'atahu Adonai Eloheinu, Elohei Avoteinu, Ve'imotenu. Modim anachnu lach, she'atahu Adonai Eloheinu, Elohei Avoteinu, Ve'imotenu. Modim anachnu lach, she'atahu Adonai Eloheinu, Elohei Avoteinu, Ve'imotenu. Le'olam va'ed, vaed Leolam vaed Leolam vaed Modim anachnu lach She'ata hu Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avoteinu Ve'imoteinu Modim anachnu lach She'ata hu Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avoteinu Ve'imoteinu Thankful for our lives Thankful for our souls Thankful for the miracles Wondrous to behold Thankful for the morning Thankful for the afternoon Thankful for the evening
Man, all right. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Hello and welcome. Let's see. Let's make sure that we pop up as we're supposed to here. We don't want to switch heads or anything like that. It would be weird. I don't know. All right. Oh, it is working. Terrific. Boker Tov, everyone. Shabbat Shalom. We are joined. You can see the person who is above us there. I'm not talking about God this time. I'm talking about Dan Nichols. Man, are we excited. We're going to give him a full introduction and everything in a few moments, but I think we're going to start right away with some music. So...
Shmira Shabbat El Yishmereini Oti Leol Meyad Beino Veni Ki Shmira Shabbat El Yishmereini Oti leol meyad beino uveni When I keep the Sabbath keeps me. It's a sign forever between me and God. Ki eshmera Shabbat el yishmereini Oti leol meyad beino Shmera Shabbat El Yishmereini Oti leol meyad beino uveni
Well, if that doesn't get you excited for this next hour, I'm not sure. What would. We're so glad to have the what do we want to call you? The incomparable. We'll call you the Jewish music superstar, Dan Nichols, with us this morning. Lynette, I know you're excited too. Woo.
Very excited.
Very excited to have Dan with us. We couldn't be happier to welcome this amazingly talented and big-hearted Dan Nichols to join us on our virtual Bima this morning. Many of you know Dan's music well. His melodies have become integral to our Shabbat services. Dan spent a lot of years at our very own Goldman Union Camp, Gucci, in Indiana, where perhaps the inspiration first came to be a song leader and a musician. And I think what makes him special is, yes, of course, his music is beautiful and thoughtful and catchy, and for many of us, it is the actual soundtrack of our Jewish lives. But it's also his genuine goodness and kindness and sense of humor that make him so special. I've been blessed to know Dan for over 20 years, we figured out the other day, which is crazy. And I couldn't be more excited. I should say Rabbi Lynette and I couldn't be more excited to welcome him to the TBS virtual Bima this morning. So the question is, what is this morning? It is March 13th, 2021. We gathered today to mark the 1 year anniversary, 1 year since we have been in person in our sanctuary for services. In some ways, it seems like it's been a lot longer than that. In other ways, it seems like it was just yesterday that we were singing and dancing on our Bima. I have often have the opportunity to talk to members of our community on or near the anniversary of losing a loved one, at that 1 year anniversary. In those types of conversations, I like to ask questions about the loved one. We laugh at a funny memory or smile at a sweet moment. Eyes sparkle with remembrance. And our tradition teaches us not to just remember our loved ones, but to bring them into our daily lives, especially those whom we've lost in this past year. We know that there have been other losses this year too. We have missed out on life. We miss seeing our friends and family. Many of us have lost income. We've been separated from our community. We tried to stay connected through our screens. Those losses are real and they are biting, and we have to acknowledge and sit with them. But perhaps, at least this morning, we can focus also on the positive aspects of this past year. Maybe our frenetic schedules were forced to slow down. Maybe we celebrated more time with the people in our little bubbles. Maybe we even found a part of ourselves that some of us forgot was there. And there is so much hope on the horizon. Every day my social media feeds are full of people receiving vaccines. Life feels like it might slowly start getting back to normal again. Hope endures. So here we are on the 1 year anniversary, the yahrzeit of our pre-pandemic life. We're going to endeavor to look inward and draw strength and resilience. And as we've talked about so many times from our virtual Bima, we will find hope together. So as we begin, I want you to perhaps think about March, April, and May, the beginning of this pandemic a year ago. Which losses did you mourn? How did the world look from your perspective? We'll spend some time reflecting and singing this morning. And also throughout our time together, we would love for you to share in the comments of what is your strength and what brings you hope. Where have you found hope in the past year? If you want to share those on Facebook, we would love to read some of them throughout the program this morning. But for now, we will turn it back over to Dan as we think back to March and April and May and the beginning of the pandemic and see if we can sit with the feelings that we had and find some hope.
מודה אני לפניך, מלך חי וקיים. מודה אני לפניך, מלך חי וקיים. שהחזרת בי נשמתי בחמלה רבה אמונתך. מודה אני לפניך, מלך חי וקיים. מודה אני לפניך, מלך חי וקיים. I offer thanks to you, ever-living God. You have restored my soul to me in mercy. How great is your trust? מודה אני לפניך, מלך חי וקיים. מודה אני לפניך, מלך חי וקיים. שהחזרת בי נשמתי בחמלה רבה אמונתך. מודה אני לפניך, מלך חי וקיים. מודה אני לפניך, מלך חי וקיים. מלך חי וקיים. מלך חי וקיים. Early in the prayer service, there is a prayer coming up traditionally that is very specific, detailed in some ways about our recognition that God made our bodies and fashioned them miraculously with mastery. And there's all this recognition of God's power in being able to create this beautiful vessel, the human body. And it even gets more specific, and depending on who you are, maybe even a little bit more awkward, because it says something like, God, we know that if one of our openings or closings were to open or close at the wrong time, we wouldn't be able to stand before you and bless you and praise you. So there's all this recognition about God being able to do godlike things in all kinds of godlike ways. And yet the last line of the prayer, the chatimah, the seal, the very last thing you are left with before you move on to the next blessing, says something that our family found interesting when we were talking about it a few years ago. The last line of the blessing says, "Blessed are you, God, healer of all flesh, working wondrously." And the question at our dinner table one night talking about this prayer was, if God is God and God can do godlike things any godlike way that God would want to do, and assuming you buy into the God package in the first place, why would God ever choose to make something that could break, that would need to be fixed? After all, God's God. Why wouldn't God make it done, all good and unbreakable? What does that mean about being a human being? And this blessing I want to share with you is for anybody today who in the midst of us being together, in the midst of any fullness that you might have, anybody that's feeling broken, maybe that's an essential part of being a human being. I thank you for my life, body and soul. Help me realize I am beautiful and whole. I'm perfect the way I am, and a little broken too. And I will live each day as a gift I give to you. Baruch atah Adonai רופא כל בשר ומפליא לעשות. ברוך אתה אדוני רופא כל בשר ומפליא לעשות. If you got a low voice, this is your part. If your voice is higher, try this. If your voice is higher, this note's for you. Way up high, somebody sings. I thank you for my life, body and soul. Help me realize I'm beautiful and whole. Help me realize I am beautiful and oh so beautiful, oh so holy. I'm perfect the way I am, and a little broken too. And I will live each day as a gift I give to you.
Thank you, Dan, for those first couple of songs. I have to admit, Yashir Yatzar gets me every time. I am tearing up a little bit over here. It resonates with me so deeply, and I think, especially as we think back on this year and that feeling perhaps of brokenness and incompleteness, to recognize that and to really feel it, I think is really important. Especially this morning as we recognize a year. So thank you, and for those of you for whom maybe some of these melodies are new or whether they're familiar, looking forward to continuing that this morning. So we've got some really wonderful comments, and we're looking forward to hearing more of you. What are some ways that you've been strengthened and found hope in this past year? So I want to read a couple of those real quick. So Jimmy shares close fellowship with others, the ability to escape and express feelings through artwork, and how that has been truly a lifeline for you, Jimmy. Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. And absolutely, to have some kind of creative outlet this year in any form, I think can certainly feel like a lifeline right now. Hilda shared that when they were in Florida, Hope was walking on the beach, and it always has been, but then the beaches were closed. So absolutely that feeling of perhaps what gave you hope was no longer accessible. And that's so hard. But then Hilda shared that Hope was in a family Zoom Seder, the first with her sisters in a very long time. So I think that's really beautiful, that being able to connect virtually and perhaps have experiences and connections that we didn't normally have or normally think about having. And hopefully you're planning a similar, experience, with your family on Passover. So thank you for sharing that. Shabbat Shalom, Rachel. Rachel shares that she's live from the 15th floor of the James Cantor Center on the beautiful campus of OSU. So Rachel, thank you for joining us, and I hope you are finding hope and strength this morning, and that all of us are sending you lots of love and strength and support. And Emily, hey Emily, Shabbat Shalom shares Hope was taking lots of long walks with her kiddos with nowhere to rush to, no reason to hurry or push her kids along, just time to be together and enjoy fresh air and sunshine. That's really, really beautiful. Thanks, Emily. And hopefully as it's getting warmer, you're able to keep taking those long walks and enjoy the there's no rush, right? We've been able to really slow down this year, for better or worse. So now let's take a moment and think back to June, July, and August. If you'd like, you can close your eyes and remember the heat and the sunshine. Hopefully we're starting to feel a little bit of now. What was your summer like? There certainly may have been some sadness, maybe a lot of sadness, and canceled trips, festivals, other plans, as the reality of the pandemic started to sink in. We were in this not for a couple of weeks or days, but it was drawing into a couple of months. Hopefully the slowest of the summer months allowed us to settle into new routines, give us time to reach out and check in with loved ones outside of our bubbles and enjoy nature and the outdoors, as Emily and some of you have already shared. So let's reflect on last year's summer months as we continue to sing along with Dan.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Lishalom V'hamidenu Shomreinu L'chaim. Spread the shelter of your peace over us. Guide us in wisdom, compassion, and trust. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Lishalom V'hamidenu Shomreinu L'chaim. Save us for the sake of your name. Shield us from hatred, sorrow, and pain. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Lishalom V'hamidenu Shomreinu L'chaim. As the pandemic started to have its impact on our family, on myself personally, I was contacted by Cantor Aviva Mer, who's Cantor in Indianapolis at Indianapolis Hebrew Congregation. She was reaching out because she wanted to find a way to honor the senior rabbi at IHC. His name's Brett Critchever. And did I know Brett Critchever? And did I know how special he was? And did I know that he was celebrating his 10 years at IHC? And maybe I could write a song to honor him for his 10 years. And would I be interested? I don't think that Aviva knew that Brett was my camper when I was 17 years old, and then again the next summer when I was 18. And, you know, I adore Brett Critchever. He was my kid. And now he's my friend. And he's a really good rabbi. And when I was asked to think about writing for him, I was thinking about a human being, the Brett that I knew even back then. You know, if I was 17, 18, he was probably 13, 14, no older than 15. And one of the things that was so incredible about Brett as a young person that I found myself noticing in my memory of him was that even in awkward, difficult social situations, of which there are many when you're 13 or 14, what I noticed as his counselor, me being an 18-year-old, I noticed him being kind on the regular, being non-reactive on the regular, being patient, watching his words in a way that I certainly didn't do when I was 13 or 14, and I still wasn't doing when I was 18. And I admired that about him. So when I was asked to reflect about Brett Critchever, that all came flooding back to me, and I realized I wanted to write to the words that. And I don't know if this happens to you, but I want to believe I'm not alone. Sometimes something happens and I just get angry, really angry. And because I want it to go a certain way, and it goes not the way I want it to go. And then I have a lot of anger about that. And it's easy to let that run away and have my words be pulled from me with a negative frame. Thinking about Brett made me think about this prayer, and I set this prayer in honor of Brett Critchever and what he taught me. This prayer is an Elohai Netzor. I want to translate it for you. Let me pull up my Mishkan Tefillah for a second. It's right here. It was right there. It really was. Doggone it. I'm gonna find you. You were right here, and then you weren't, and that's okay. Mishkan Tefillah, PDF. I must have pushed a button to make it go somewhere. I'm finding it.
I've got the translation here. Would that help?
Thank you so much.
Okay.
And thank you for waiting, everyone.
So this is the last prayer of the Amidah, and mentioned whereas the Amidah is this communal experience, at the very end it becomes extremely personal, and it says, God, let me use my lips for good. Let me use my tongue for good and not evil. My God, guard my speech from evil, my lips from deception. Before those who slander me, I will hold my tongue. I will practice humility. Open my heart to your Torah, that I may pursue your mitzvot. As for all who think evil of me, cancel their designs and frustrate their schemes. Act for your own sake, for the sake of your power, and for the sake of your holiness, for the sake of your Torah, so that your loved ones may be rescued. Save with your power and answer me.
Elohai Netzor Lishoni Mera Elohai Netzor Lishoni Mera. Oh my God, watch over me Take the hurt away from how I speak. Only love flows from you. May every word I speak be true. Elohai Netzor Lishoni Mera. Elohai Netzor Lishoni Mera. When words are thrown, I'll hold my tongue and breathe the air of songs I've sung. That refrain I'll repeat. There's more to you than only me. Elohai Netzor Lishoni Mera. Elohai Netzor Lishoni Meira. Usfatai midaber mirma. Velim kal elai nafshi tidom. V'nashi kefar lakol tiyeh. Hai na na, hai na na na. Hai na na, hai na na na. Hai na na, hai na na na. Hai na na, hai na na na.
Thank you for sharing that. That's the first time I heard that, and it is really beautiful. And when we talk about prayer as aspirational, I think there's no better than the words you just sung and that we have in the Amidah, trying to use our words for good. I want to read a few of these comments that folks have shared about where you found hope. And if you haven't put a comment in here, feel free to do that anytime. Where have you found strength and hope? Sarah Phillips says that one of the ways I think that she demonstrates strength and hope now is, she says, I feel personally that I live now with more intention. I don't take the simple things for granted any longer. Time with family and friends, hugs, a simple walk with the dogs to say hello to the neighbors, are all precious and mean more to me than ever before. I think that's really nice. Thanks for sharing that. And scrolling down, Susie Blank says she's found hope in teaching Judaism to children 6 days a week. It's true, Susie, man. It's a lot of time at the JCC New Albany and at our religious school, but man, we are sure thankful for you, Susie, and we find hope in what you do as well. Mark Rossio. Hello, Mark. Counselor of Dan talked about being a counselor, and I think Mark was one of your counselors at some point. Anyway, Mark says, creating a holy space in my house, Temple Beth Rossio, he calls it, has been meaningful and has given him strength. And I'll read one more, and then I invite you, if you haven't put them in there yet, to share with us. Betty Hirsch says, even in the midst of isolation, I was able to gather with those whom I wouldn't have otherwise seen, and I was motivated to studying that I would not have done otherwise. So thanks for sharing those, folks, and keep them coming. We would love to read those. As we'll say at the end, our strength strengthens each other, and our hope helps us find hope together. So the more we can read about these and draw strength from each other, the better we will be. Back in our reflection of this past year, with the arrival of fall, September, October, November, we knew that we would be celebrating our High Holy Days differently than usual. Some folks watched virtually, others did our drive-in services, others maybe just found time to be alone and to connect with God in whichever way they found useful. Close your eyes for a moment and think back to maybe how you felt as the high holidays approached. How was this experience different from other years? After the holidays, the leaves started to change. Our beloved drive-in services started getting a little colder and a little darker. We blinded ourselves with LED lights so that we could be seen and see each other. And the sun started to set a little earlier. In November, many of us missed celebrating Thanksgiving the way that we normally do with family and friends. I invite you to remember back to those moments this fall and reflect on them, and also perhaps on the hope that we started to feel as winter approached. I'm going to turn it back to Dan for a couple more songs.
Cantor Ellen Dreskin teaches that the silence in the car on the way to the concert is different than the silence in the car on the way home. And that first gave me an appreciation for quiet and how to use quiet to inform a moment that's just happened or is coming. And I want to acknowledge that we're on Zoom in these little boxes made of pixels, little boxes on the Zoomy Zoom, and maybe it feels more awkward than ever to be intentionally quiet. I just wanted to be transparent. If I'm holding a spot, it's because I'm holding silence. I'm trying to do that. I invite you to do that, try that as well. מי האיש החפץ חיים, אוהב ימים לראות טוב. מי האיש החפץ חיים, אוהב ימים לראות טוב. נצור לשונך מרע, ושפתיך מדבר מרמה. סור מרע ועשה טוב, בקש שלום ורודפהו. מי האיש החפץ חיים, אוהב ימים לראות טוב. מי האיש החפץ חיים, אוהב ימים לראות טוב. נצור לשונך מרע, ושפתיך מדבר מרמה. סור מרע ועשה טוב, בקש שלום ורודפהו. This is an excerpt from Psalm 34. Who is one who is eager for life? Who desires years of good fortune? Guard your tongue from evil, your lips from deceitful speech. Shun evil and do good. Seek integrity and pursue it. נצור לשונך מרע, ושפתיך מדבר מרמה. סור מרע ועשה טוב, בקש שלום ורודפהו. מי האיש החפץ חיים, אוהב ימים לראות טוב. מי האיש החפץ חיים, אוהב ימים לראות טוב. sometimes there can be great power, great discovery in just asking the question. Well, that's true for me. It's true for me. Without the pressure of having an answer right now, there can be, for me, such discovery, such a place of curiosity by asking the question. It is detached or removed, or that it acknowledges judgment is not going to be here right now. We're just going to be curious right now. And that's the spirit in which I share this. If you're feeling judgmental, this is an invitation to acknowledge that. Say, I'm glad you're here. Have a seat over there. I'll deal with you in a little bit. Right now, we're just going to be curious. Where will my help come from? 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 Esa einai el harim. Esa einai el harim. Me'ayin yavo ezri. Me'ayin yavo ezri. Me'ayin yavo ezri. Me'ayin yavo ezri. Where will my help come from? Where will my help come from? My help will come from God, maker of heaven and earth. My help will come from God, maker of heaven and earth. A few years ago, I was at one of our summer camps, and song leaders were singing this song by Peter Rowan. I think it's called I'm Calling You. I think I learned it from Matt Emmer, who was a song leader up at Eisner. It's especially in the age of Zoom. This song resonates with me. I just thought of it. Here's how it goes. We all live on our own mountain so high. We all live on our own mountain so high. From my mountain to your mountain to my mountain so high. From my mountain to your mountain to my mountain so high. I'm calling you. I'm calling you. I'm calling you. Let's try it. We all live on our own mountain. We all live on our own mountain so high. We're singing it again. We all live on our own mountain so from my mountain to your mountain, my mountain to your mountain to my mountain so high. My mountain to your mountain to my mountain so high. I'm calling you. calling you. I'm calling you. Where will my help come from? Where will my help come from?
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Dan. So soulful, and I love, Asa Sinai is a melody that hopefully is familiar to many of us as we sing it often on Friday evenings for Shabbat. But to infuse it with "I'm Calling You" makes it just really, really special and really fitting for this morning. And to hear it sung by you also, it's also amazing. So I hope that all of us here are feeling as soulful and healing, and allowing us, like you said, to kind of sit with curiosity and not with judgment. I think as we look back on this year, it can be easy to be like, oh, I didn't bake enough bread, I didn't do enough this or that, or so much of the year was really about just surviving and just making it day to day. And so I hope that we all invite that kind of gentle curiosity and compassion for ourselves as we're living through something we never could have imagined. There's certainly no perfect way to do it.
Doesn't it kind of feel like we're finally like past the halfway point of the mountain that we're talking about? It feels like we've done so much climbing and falling back and climbing and falling back, and hopefully it's not false hope, but it really feels like we're starting to near the summit, and God willing, that's for sure.
Definitely, absolutely. And I've heard from folks who have either gotten their first vaccine shot or maybe both, is that feeling of relief and hope. And I know for me on the other side, seeing folks who are getting their vaccines, I certainly feel like we are starting to get to the mountaintop. It's in sight, and we'll all get there.
I think I told you, Rabbi, that I like sat in the Kroger in Johnstown crying after I got my first shot, just like this feeling of like relief and joy, and I don't even know what it was. And the locals didn't look too kindly on me, I don't think. But I just there's that feeling like maybe there's a way out, and but we're doing it together, that's for sure. Sorry, I'm gonna stop interrupting you now.
No. I think that's wonderful to hear, and I know I've heard that experience reflected in a lot of other folks. So I'm glad you had that experience. That's really beautiful. So we're getting some really lovely comments, and we'd love to hear from you if you haven't shared yet. Feelings of hope and strength that have helped you get through this year. Debbie, hi Debbie, says, I find hope every morning when I wake up and realize we are one day closer to the end of this nightmare. I think very similar to what we were just saying, that's one next step, getting closer. So thank you, Debbie, for sharing that. Emily shares hope is hearing this song and looking forward to High Holidays 2021 with the crew. Yeah, exactly. Could not be more excited to have you singing with us again, Emily, this fall. We missed you last year, and we're really, really excited for that. Glad that is now official. You said it.
This is a verbal contract or a written contract. Yeah.
Absolutely, a lot of folks sharing, Dan, how beautiful this is, how much they're enjoying the morning. Marty says, I've attended many more Shabbat services via Facebook during the past year than I did in person. The previous year, I've even periodically joined you from Florida. This is supported by mental and spiritual health. Thanks to all who have made the remote services happen. Thank you so much, Marnie, and we are so glad to hear. I think I can speak for all of us how services have helped you feel like you're staying anchored, and that it's helped you, stay mentally and spiritually grounded during this time. I can certainly say the same, for sure, absolutely. So thank you. Sandy shares Shabbat Shalom, Sandy. She shares, she expresses her sincere gratitude to TBS for sustaining her through this horrendous year. And thank you very much. That has certainly been, I think, the case for all of us. We have also relied on all of you and your strength and your hope. And it's a community of all of us. So for all of us to be here together, I think, is what is certainly sustaining. So thank you. And our cantorial soloist, Gail Rose, Shabbat Shalom, Gail, shares, I feel hope when I think about the many people who have changed their way of communicating to stay connected during COVID-19, and our wonderful scientists and healthcare workers. Absolutely, absolutely. Amen to that. Well, we will keep on reading your wonderful comments, but for now, we're going to turn back to our meditation of remembering this past year. And now we'll sit with the winter months, which we most recently experienced, December, January, and February. We can all take a deep breath and go back to those months when we found ourselves experiencing different challenges compared to the other seasons. So let's think back. We were inside more, unlike the warmer months. The snow, the overcast skies, and the gloomy weather, maybe more intense weather than some of our past years, may have compounded our own feelings of loneliness and isolation, perhaps. We missed family or holiday plans and winter vacations and more experiences and milestones with families that we were hoping we would be able to get to. And yet there was light in the darkness. We lit our menorot for Hanukkah, separate but together in hope and resiliency. We lit all of our menorahs at TBS as usual and felt our communal light, even though we weren't there in person to do so this year. And we also felt that light when the Pfizer vaccine was approved in December and followed, as we know, by 2 more. So that light and that hope and that resiliency, that compassion and caring for others will continue to sustain us today and into our future, no matter what the next couple of months may bring. And as I mentioned before, that light is it shines from each and every one of us, and we are what make that sustaining. So we're gonna keep on singing with Dan with some more melodies. So I'll turn it back over to him.
How many times have I heard at the beginning of services, especially since I was in religious school, we get to Baruch Hu, and some song leader, cantor, rabbi, educator will say, we rise for the Baruch Hu, our call to worship. And it's a call at the beginning of the service, thinking about that is one of the very first prayers that we have, that we use in our services in Reform style to kind of get things going. So that is kind of an open parenthesis to the experience that we're about to have, whether it's going to feel like an hour or feel like 3 hours or whatever. That's the beginning. It's the call. And then we get to the end of the service, near the end of the service, and there's another moment to me that feels like a closed parentheses, and it's a call as well. And I hear it as a call to action, a closed parentheses on what we're doing with the service. And that's a prayer called Aleinu L'Shabeach. Some folks I talk to, Jewish folks, say that they have a hard time with it because they hear the language in this prayer saying, God, you made us separate from other people on the planet Earth with a destiny unique to us. And some folks hear that as a judgment that somehow we're separate and better. And then therefore they have a hard time with this prayer and don't, quote, like Aleinu. Here's the way it was shared with me. Cantor Ellen Dreskin's come up a lot for me today. She's a dear friend and she's a remarkable human being and a great teacher. And she challenges us to think about Aleinu L'Shabeach this way, in this chosenness. God as parent. Think about God as parent and human beings as God's children. There can be chosenness from a parent to a child. For example, like this. Hey, kids, Dan, I choose you to clean the bathroom. And Benji, I choose you to vacuum the floors. And Lynette, I choose you to clean out the fridge. That kind of chosenness is what Cantrell and Dreskin suggests we look through when we pray Aleinu L'Shabeach. And even zooming out from there, Aleinu L'Shabeach means quite literally, it's on us. And this setting for Aleinu L'Shabeach I want to share with you is reflection on this concept of hope and strength. And God willing, we're holding on to that hope. And God willing, we're holding on to some sense of internal strength that has real integrity, that's authentic to who we are. What can we then do with it? And this is this prayer, a call to action as we get close to the end of our prayer and reflections meditation experience this morning. It's up to us to call ourselves to task, to sing what's good and true, to bring about redemption. It's what we were freed to do. For what's the point of being here if we're not moved to change our ways? Aleinu L'Shabeach. It's time to live our praise. We are carrying the stories of the ones who came before. What stories will be told of us when we are here no more? We commit ourselves to action. It brings meaning to our days. Aleinu L'Shabeach. It's time to live our praise. It's up to us to own the vision. We are an answer to a call. It's up to us to live the words we speak for the benefit of all. It's up to us to bow down deeply. There's a broken world to raise. Aleinu L'Shabeach. It's time to live our praise. Aleinu L'Shabeach. It's time to live our praise. As we think about hope and strength and healing, I got to tell you that I would not be with you this morning, today, singing these songs, had it not been for a little Jewish summer camp in a suburb on the northwest side of Indianapolis called Zionsville, Indiana, of all things. A little camp that started out as Camp Big Eagle in the 40s and then became Union Camp Institute and then became Myron S. Goldman Union Camp, GUCI, Gucci, as we all love to call it. And I am with you because of this camp. My whole family converted to Judaism when I was about 7. And it was only a year later that they sent me to this camp. I was learning to read Hebrew at camp. I was learning about prayer at camp. I was learning about the value of being in relationship with people my age, living with them, away from my parents, learning how to become the dad that I want to be now, as an 18-year-old, being a counselor, caring for kids, learning about how to be in relationship with people, learning how to fail. And I did epically at Gucci in my days, learning how to fail and learn and return and grow. I had my bar mitzvah at camp. I learned to play guitar at camp. And I'm so grateful for this opportunity to be with you today because of what Jewish Summer Camp did for Dan Nichols. And I want to close my singing with a song that we wrote to celebrate camp, its 40th birthday back in '98. And it's the more I sing it, it's not really a camp song. It's about recognizing a moment that's important, that's happened before, that we're honoring right now, and that we're committed to keep going. And it's born out of this. Anytime we finish a book of Torah, we say these words: Chazak, chazak, v'nit chazek. It says, "Be strong, let us be strengthened." And to me, it's always been a ritual of saying, "Look what we've done. Our people have done for so long. We're reading Torah. We've reached this moment, and we are committing ourselves to do it again right now, and we're going to keep on doing it." And that's also every year of camp is another book of Torah for the Jewish people. And I share this with you with the hope that whatever you're walking through, that you can head forward into it with strength, authentic strength and integrity to be your best self, my best self, our best self. And I appreciate you trusting me with the Shabbat morning. This is a beautiful way for me to start my Shabbat morning, and I'm so honored to be trusted with it. It means a lot to me. Thank you, Rabbi Lynette, Rabbi Benji. I appreciate you. And thank you, Kat. Aria, is that Aria? Okay, thank you, Aria. We have come from near and far to raise our voice in song. And the more we join in the refrain, the more we feel strong. Chazak, chazak, v'nit chazek. There is a power in this place and time. It shapes the rest of our lives. For when we return each year, we find a truth we can't deny. Be strong and let us strengthen one another. Be strong and let us celebrate our lives. Be strong and let us strengthen one another. Chazak, chazak, v'nit chazek. Chazak, chazak, v'nit chazek. As we sing, we link ourselves to those who came before. And we're one with all those yet to come. Our strength, it will endure. Be strong and let us strengthen one another. Be strong and let us celebrate our lives. Be strong and let us strengthen one another. Chazak, chazak. Be strong, let us strengthen one another. Be strong, let us celebrate our lives. Be strong, let us strengthen one another. Chazak, chazak. Be strong, be strong. Chazak, chazak, v'nit chazek.
Well, we certainly have strengthened one another this morning, that is for sure, and hopefully that can feed us throughout the course of this week. We are just so grateful, Dan, for the heart that you bring to the Saturday morning experience for us this morning. Yeah. It's always fun just tearing up in front of a computer screen, but it was really, really beautiful. I wanted to share there are a couple more folks who wrote comments about things that make them hopeful. Matt Friedman says, we tried to make a positive spin on the winter months and treat it as a special time that our family of 5 would never again have the chance to experience. And that I think that's a great way to do it. My daughter Sammy is over at your house right now, Matt, so you can include her in that also. We would appreciate it. That's great. Hilda mentions the loss of one of our founding members, Connie Freundlich, was so sad and hard to not be together to comfort one another, and certainly, hopefully, we'll have a service for Connie at some point where we can all be together and hug each other. Rachel Goldblatt says, listening to Dan in this service this morning has helped my mood so much, and it's given me the boost I needed. Thank you all very much. Love you all. Rachel, we love you also and are sending a lot of prayers your way. I know it's going to be a rough few weeks and months ahead, but we are with you, and we are sending you lots of love. Somebody is Temple Beth Shalom. It's either Mark or Angela saying, Lee Friedman, my first counselor. I think that's probably Mark, I imagine. Yeah. And Gail Rose is saying, thank you for the heartfelt music and messages. That's for sure. My mom also says, the music brings me to tears. Thank you for this gift. Apple doesn't fall far from the tree, clearly on that. So thank you. Can I put you on the spot real quickly, Dan, to ask, can we have one quick encore song? Are you up for one more?
Absolutely.
Anything you want. Sorry to put you on the spot. You could do Happy Clappy or whatever you want. And
wow, thank you. Well, this is it. Thank you for the gift. Okay.
Thank you for the gift.
Anything I want, Benji.
Stairway. Anything.
Stairway
No. So you if you want to think about it for a moment while we close up shop here and just give a couple of announcements, just so everyone knows what's coming up tonight at 6 p.m. I believe you want to do it 6 p.m., Rabbi. Is that right? 6 p.m. Havdalah, Rabbi Lynette and Mike will be leading that. So hopefully you'll join us at 6 p.m. here. And then next Friday night is our first drive-in of the season. Reserve your spot at the parking lot now. Men's Club is making dinner, and there'll be box dinners to be delivered to your car. So if you'd like to buy one of those dinners or reserve a spot, just hop on the Temple website or here on Facebook. And the Women's Seder is happening next Sunday, the 21st of March. Please RSVP for that as soon as you possibly can. And finally, we're doing a first Seder on Zoom again, and that'll be on Saturday evening on the 26th. So we hope, 27th. So we hope you'll join us. Oh wait, one other thing. Our beloved Rabbi Emeritus Howard Apotheker, we are yanking him out of retirement to give a sermon on the 26th. So 2 Fridays, and 2 Fridays he'll be joining us for that. He hasn't done that for a very long time, so we're excited. So that's all the announcements you need for this moment right now. And Dan Nichols, I'm sorry for putting you on the spot. Okay, great. We'll turn it over to you.
Practice.
What?
Thank you.
Yeah.
My therapist says it's a chance to practice.
It's a chance to practice. That's fair enough.
This is something new I'm working on. What I love about our time together today is the space we've given ourselves to process and share what we've experienced over the course of the year, and the grace in which you two thankfully walked us through segments of the year and gave us points of nature to reflect on how things changed and how various moments of struggle, Jewish ritual, were all wrapped together to be there as an opportunity to pay attention. And I'm grateful for that. I really am. And I've been reading a book by Rabbi Naomi Levy called To Begin Again. I recommend it. To Begin Again by Rabbi Naomi Levy. It's really been helping me as I try to begin again parts of my life. And in reading the book, there's a line in there, it's part 3, called Fighting for Life. She's talking about healing. She writes in the book, "This healing we hope for will not descend like some prayer in the night. We're going to have to be willing to work for it. We're going to have to be willing to fight for it. And I realized as I was reading that I wanted to write a healing song. And so this is something I'm working on, a healing song for all of us, our country, our world, as we walk through this. This is called this healing we hope for. This anger has owned us far too long. We've been afraid. This anger has shown us anxious days are the price we pay. We will arrive transformed, but not unscathed. We will arise restored and unafraid. This healing we hope for will not descend like some prayer in the night. This healing we long for, we will work and we will fight. We will arrive transformed, but not unscathed. We will arise restored and unafraid. Our hearts will stop ignoring all the times we've caved in love and in life and in searching for you. These scars will tell the stories of all the pain we've braved in love and in life and in searching for you. We will arrive transformed, but not unscathed. We will arise restored and unafraid. We are grateful for this life and this searching. For you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for that. We will arrive, absolutely. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. May this be a week of peace and a Shabbat of holiness and reconnection and rest and joy. And certainly we have experienced a lot of those emotions this morning, and we're so grateful. So Dan, thank you. Rabbi, thank you. And we'll see you all soon.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. All right. And...